The Z06 is so far the closest that I've ever seen a real street car get to a race car.
Technology transfer when it comes to Corvette racing is not just a marketing slogan. The production team and the race team share parts. They develop cars together. They share test facilities. It's for real. It's how we work together every day.
Racing is the ultimate test on the vehicle.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. Happy Sunday. First thing first, I know you guys see the title. I'm gonna be talking about the Z06, the 200K American made Corvette. So pretty much everything I want to get in, before I get into giving you guys my personal opinion, I want to be able to tell you guys the three things I want to talk about that Corvette. I want to talk about the specs, I want to talk about the price of it, and also I just want to also talk about if the price of it, you know, being obviously it's a Corvette, just being an American made car, would you pay 200K for a car like that if you had the funds for it? But first thing first, guys, before I get into talking about all of that, I want to say I appreciate those that I see. I appreciate those who are definitely watching all my videos that I'm putting out. It's not easy, but I definitely been trying to keep this YouTube thing going on. So I've been grinding, but it is Sunday, the end of the week. I hope you guys had a great weekend. I hope you guys are having a great day. And happy Sunday. I need you guys to definitely, I'm trying to crush my goal of, my goal originally was to hit 5K. Now my goal, I'm like, hey, look, I feel like aiming at 5K, that's not really, because that's right there. That really could be done any day. So I feel like that's not really of a far reach. So you know what? I had to turn it up. So I'm definitely, my goal is to hit 10K. 10K, guys. That's my goal on YouTube. To keep, I'm definitely trying to be more consistent with putting out videos out there. So definitely gotta hit 10K. So I see some people that's not subscribed and some people that sub. So definitely, guys, for the ones that's not subscribed, definitely subscribe to the channel. It's only gonna get better from here on out. And the only way we going is the way up, man. But let's get into talking about this C8 Corvette from Chevy. So the first thing I want to talk about, the spec of that, about the C8 Corvette Z06. Honestly, I personally, I'm a Dodge guy, but at the end of the day, if you talking about muscle cars, pretty much, I'm also into like muscle cars and stuff like that. I like cars like that. And I'd rather choose a muscle car over, a JDM pretty much. But, the C8 Z06 Corvette's like a supercar kind of. It's not really like a muscle car, like the C7 or the C6, how they still have that muscle car and kind of like a, that muscle car look pretty much, I'll say. But so the C8s, I'm not really a big fan of how they really look, but I personally don't think that they look bad. But I personally do think that it's just the body wise, like for me, I seen them in person. I seen it in person before at a car show. So I just feel like the body wise is just, it's just way too wide. It kind of remind me of like a, kind of almost like giving like that McLaren body style set like that, pretty much. It's like a wide, bulky, you know, which nothing wrong with it. It's, you know, Chevy did their thing with taking their time to come up with the design of the C8 Corvette. Obviously, I believe they came out with a couple different kinds before the Z06 came out. The Z06, I believe that's like the full package. Obviously, you can see a difference, like the front end is different. The rear is like way more badass, like the exhaust is in the middle. And personally, like looking at overall, like the outside, the body on the outside, I just feel like personally, it's not really my style. But if I have the funds to buy something like that, I would buy it, but I wouldn't buy it to, you know, do any kind of crazy mods with it. It would just be like a vehicle to take out every now and then. But if me, this is my own personal opinion, like I said, the best Chevy Corvette Z06 that ever been made by Chevy ever, in my personal opinion, which I think is always going to be number one for me. If you a car guy and you understand what I'm about to say, is like you would definitely agree with me on that. Like, we're not talking about price wise. Yeah, I know the C8 Z06 Corvette is worth $200K, but a 6 Z06 is the best year made Corvettes ever that I am ever in my lifetime. I think that overall, that right there, that's the C8 C6 Z06, all over, all around. They look good. But compared to the C8 obviously we are in a newer time, so the C8, I think it just more so look like it doesn't have that muscle car look no more. It's just like a luxury supercar look, and it's not really like my kind of thing. But don't get me wrong, the Z06 for the C8 definitely can get up there with power wise and stuff. I'm not sure, but I believe like the right out the, you know, stock is pushing probably, I think 600 horse, I think 600 or 700, I'm pretty sure, somewhere around there, which is pretty crazy for a car like that. It's really not considered a muscle car no more, since, you know, obviously after the C6, C7, those, I feel like C6 and C7, you know, those really, like any older model kept that, you know, that muscle car look. But a C8, obviously Chevy, you know, they definitely did their thing. I ain't gonna talk bad about it. Like I said, it doesn't look bad, but it's just not my style with like the specs that's on there. The front end compared to the rear, honestly, the front, I'm not a big fan of how the front looks. It's just too like wide. But I think personally, like the rear still the back of it still looks like it still resembles like the C7, like the C7 Corvettes. Still has that look, like, okay, it's a Corvette. But the front, if you was a person who like debadge your whole C8 Corvette, and somebody who really don't know much about cars, and they see something like that from like the front end, they wouldn't be able to tell that it's a Corvette. They probably gonna think it's some kind of high-end exotic or something like that, which that's like the look that, you know, it's given. I believe that's why they went with that look, because they wanted to bring out that exotic, you know, exotic side, make it look like a supercar and stuff like that. But the next thing I want to talk about, the price tag. Now, I know you guys see these, like the C8s off the rip. If you're talking about from base model, when they first came out with them, you know, I believe like the base model is around like 90-ish, 90K, you know, taxes and stuff like that. Brand new, 90K-ish, around there. But now we're talking about the Z06 C8 Corvette, which is a different ball game. This is a high-end, highly modified, straight off the manufacturer and stuff like that, making a crazy amount of power. Definitely sound like an exotic car. Don't need to do nothing pretty much to the exhaust. Like the exhaust on it is like sounds good to me, everything and stuff like that. But the price now, like for 200 grand, 200K, for you to have a Corvette that's way over the price of the average American home, you know, that they would normally buy. I'm not saying that it's not worth 200K, but I'm just saying that for a vehicle being worth, like, with that kind of price, there should be more. I feel like the inside of it is not really as really like out of this world. Like, given that, like, that, oh my gosh, like, this is like way different. This is like completely different from like the C7, you know, the C7, the inside of the C7. Obviously, it still has like that. It still has like that resemblance from the C7, the inside. I personally think there's not really like a whole lot that they change on the inside of the C8 coming from this, you know, coming from a C7 to a C8 for it to be worth 200 grand. And which, like I said, which is not, you know, it's not a bad thing. But I'm thinking the main thing that why I feel like that car is worth 200 grand is definitely because it's what's under the hood.
Oh, this is a Z06 engine.
Well,
Titanium valves, valve springs. Full dry sump lube. 6.7.
The kind of power that it's going to be able to make, and pretty much, like, I more so feel like that 200K came from, you know, what's under the hood, and then also like the, you know, like the specs of it. It doesn't give, like, it's pretty much a supercar. For me, the C8 Corvette is not like a muscle car no more. To me, it's pretty much like a supercar. Like, it's up there with the Lambos, McLarens, Ferraris, stuff like that. Now, like, they just took it from down here to up there and stuff like that, and it's up there with the exotic car. And that's why I feel like that's why they listed it as 200K, because obviously not just the looks, but, you know, what's under the hood and how much power that thing is definitely making, which is crazy. Because me, honestly, if I had the funds to be able to buy something like that, I probably will. Don't get me wrong, I probably will. You know, obviously as a C8, a Z06, who wouldn't? A Z06 is the best. I personally feel like it's the best ones out there than a ZR1. I'd rather pick a Z06 over a ZR1 any day. And, you know, obviously, if you a car guy, like I've said, you'll know why. And Chevy definitely did their thing with it. I'm not here to talk smack about the C8 Z06, but I'm just here to talk about the same price of 200 grand for a C8 Z06. That's mind-blowing. 200 grand. And, you know, it's definitely, you know, it's, for some people it might not be worth it, but honestly, for me, I'm kind of like in the middle. I kind of think it's kind of worth it, and it's kind of not with certain things and stuff like that. But obviously, I want you guys to be able to tell me, you know, would you pay 200 grand for a C8 Z06, strictly brand new? Would you, you know, if you had the funds for it, obviously, would you want to spend that kind of money on a C8 Z06? And one thing too, I'm not too sure, but I think that Chevy did some kind of modification where you couldn't really get them programmed yet. Now I think they could get programmed and stuff like that now. But before, like, you paying all that kind of money for a car, you know, obviously the base model before the Z06 model came out, and you couldn't do none of that stuff with it, was kind of, you know, it was kind of disappointing. 90 grand to 100 grand for, I believe, like a base model brand new. But let me know what you guys think. Would you spend that kind of money on a C8 Z06? Is it worth that kind of money? You know, let me know. I know there's a lot of guys out there that like Corvette like me. I love Corvette. Chevy always did their thing and stuff like that. But I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.